Um, Today we kind of start our show off, talking about things that are in the news and that type of thing. Today we're actually just going to talk a little bit about what our business is doing in these economic times where still prices are rising. We have tariffs, uncertainty. One of the biggest challenges in business, of course, is uncertainty, right? If you don't know what's happening, that's in life, right? No matter what, not even just business. But there's a lot of different things you can do, when it's times like this. You probably see it in marketing all the time. Sadly, I think one of the first thing people do in business is they'll cut marketing.
Oh, yes.
Because they're like, I have to pay utilities, I have to pay my rent, I have to, pay my employees, so on and so forth. Oh, but I can cut the marketing, which is really the worst thing to do.
Yeah. So even just cutting marketing, but they're also with AI and all these tools in front of us. There's a lot of interest in that too. So it's been really interesting. And this last week, one of the things that I do is some training, and I did adapting to change. And so when we talk about uncertainty, a lot of that is change. And they said the best skill we can have for ourselves is the ability to adapt to change, because we know that that's going to happen.
I believe that so strongly. And another thing is, it's easy to just put your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening and just go, well, we'll be really busy next month and I can catch up on my bills or whatever, where that is not the case. Usually you need to stay on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say there's some times of a sense of overwhelm that happens, but there is, with change or uncertainty, there are always things we can do. I was so encouraged Friday at my Centersphere group. We hear some doom and gloom, we hear all of this stuff.
Sure.
And this particular gentleman's business has been a little slow, and he's used this time to really optimize some systems that he has. And he goes, you know what? I think we are going to see a great 2026. I was like, thank you for just articulating that, just that positive out there. Yeah.
Well, and you'll see that you hear this saying all through life. At least I have in my 64 summers. I maybe didn't listen to it every summer, but what you think expands.
Yeah.
It really does. And I'll have, mentees that I'm working with that are like, I just feel like I'm never going to get my first sale, or, and it's like, well, if you keep thinking and feeling that way, you won't.
Yes.
First off. So let's say you're going to get your first sale. Let's just be prepared and work for it that way. But change is scary, and we are really creatures of habit. My habit. Oh, by the way, we need to introduce our beautiful guest today, Wendy Tridle from
Tridle,
Triddle, Biddle, Little. Okay.
Yes.
I sometimes get names wrong, so if I call you, I don't know, Stacy, don't freak out. Also, we need to introduce. We have a wonderful producer today, Brian. I don't know his last name. How do you pronounce that? I don't know his last name.
Benton.
And he is awesome. So thank you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So,
but one of the things I was going to say,
Organized by Design.
Right, there we go.
And I will say, Wendy has got an incredible handle on her business. She is so smart. So we are going to have a great 90 minutes. So what's your thoughts, Wendy?
On change. I mean, with my business, most of what we do is making that transition for seniors into a retirement community. So I see a change in just while we are dealing with baby boomers. I mean, this is going to be a change in the future, even not in so much economic, economic too, but there's going to be such a overflow of people needing to go into retirement communities. So I just feel like the business is just going to be growing. And to think about it in 20 years, just think of how the world will change. Yes.
Well, and you just cited the positive side of change. Change is happening, but in your business, you see that change being growth. So that's fantastic.
Growth.
And Wendy, I need to refer you more. Being in realty, I see a lot of times where the people so I've seen 64 summers. So how old am I? I'm
old.
64. I had somebody the other day go, I don't know. Why would I know how many? I said, I just told you I saw 64 summers. Anyway, so I'm in that age group of people. And so Tom and I just bought a new house. And so it's a lot about downsizing. He's fine. I'm the pack rat, mess rat. I do have habits. They're not good habits when it comes to organization. But the more I think about it, the more I think really what we need as we move is an thought process on how we live and what we need to take with us to do that and what I need to trash.
Right.
Now, I'm never going to inventory my Christmas like he wants me to. That's just not going to happen. We'll start
You
right
and me
there.
both. I mean,
Okay, good.
we all have things that I want to say. Some people call it hoarding, but I call it collecting. You know, like
Wonderful.
shoes, and Christmas is my passion. That's what I love.
I love it.
So,
Yeah.
know, and everybody has that. You know, you deal with a 80-year-old Betty, hers might be china and crystal, and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
what she likes.
Yeah. But people trouble what to move and what not to move, you know, when they're
Mhm.
downsizing, or I call it right sizing. You know, they're right sizing into a different home and they're like, oh, Gary, we need tons and tons of storage where we're moving. And I'm like, okay, I want to find a way to politely say, you know, you really don't. And so a lot of
Mhm.
times I'll say, well, have you touched and worked with this in the past 5 years?
Right.
No, I really haven't. Do you really think that you will? Could you
Mhm.
maybe donate it someplace? And then there's all sorts of groups where you can go to sew again if you haven't been sewing or knitting or whatever it might
Right.
be.
Yeah. So what we do is we help people, and we do usually a session in the morning or afternoon, and then we will take the donations. So it's a free service where we bring our vans and we just fill it up with donation. As long as it's not furniture, it's easy. We just stick it in the back of our van and take it to your donation site that you want.
Yeah.
So
I find a lot of fulfillment in donating things that I even loved,
Mhm.
but I don't use. And I have someone in my family that's too good to donate. Why? If it's not a fit for you anymore, donate it and bring someone else.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
happiness.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So preparing for this week, I'm looking at this going, oh my God, I would be like your worst client. You'd just be like,
No,
I don't know,
no.
kind of be like, I mean, I could see myself get really organized, and 2 weeks later you'd come back and go, what happened? And it would be like, I happened, because I am just happening. Let me just start with that. Now my spouse, on the other hand, is very organized and
That does not surprise
very
me at
quiet about his panic about how I'm not, you know. So I'll get little phrases sometimes like, hey, where does this go? And I'm like, well, where'd you find it? Laying here on the table. Oh yeah, it can go there.
Yes.
No.
I always say everything should have a home.
Yeah.
You know, don't set it down on the counter, else it will grow to 10 things by the end of the day. And it always happens. Yes.
That's so true. You know, also though, like with our house now, we're thinking, okay, we want to have a little bit of a drop zone. I tend to come in and go, drop this here, 5 feet later, drop that there, 5 feet later, drop that there. And
You're my
then
Alex.
the
is
next
what you
morning
are.
I'm like, where's my wallet? Where's my key? You know? And
Yes.
so having some more organizational thought to that. I mean, I'm relating to real estate because I do that and I'm moving now, but in a business, it's also vitally important.
Oh, yes. They say some facts is that people spend 4 hours out of a 40-hour work week trying to look for things, whether it be, you know, paper clips, stapler, I don't know, or if you're looking for something on your on the computer, people waste so much time.
Oh, I agree.
So I used to go into lots of commercial businesses and help them organize. We still do that. Most of what we do is residential, but just kind of coach them and say, okay, let's label everything, make sure everybody knows where it is. So it's easy to
What's a
find.
label?
I do love label makers. I love
Label
organizing.
makers. Oh, so you like
That's what I'm
say
gonna
this
gift you.
bin is for this?
And it just prints
Ow.
it out.
That's our
I love
favorite.
it.
Our favorite tool is our label maker. We take it in, and so we just go. You know, we'll organize and help people. You know, even a pantry. You know, people can find things in a pantry if you put a label on it. Sometimes
It is a
they can't.
sense of just refreshment because, and I do like to organize. So I see Travis isn't here, so I can tell on him. In the tool crib, in our tool crib that has all of our supplies, tools, and whatnot, it was a shamble. It was just awful. And the guys, Alex and Travis, goes, Mom, could you organize this? I will, but if you mess it up, you will pay a huge penalty. So I went in there and I put on my music. I spent 2 weekends. I organized, I labeled, and then I get such delight. Where's this, Mom? I said, it's labeled right here. You see all that?
Yeah.
All the plumbing's here, I love going in there and seeing it and checking up on them too to make sure that they're
That's
following the
great.
system.
That's great. It makes it so much more easy to find things. But you know, you look at schools. teachers will label things and the kids will look for the little tiny label. I always say in a pantry, somebody will look for the simplest label of chips, but there might be a big bag of chips right there. And they have to find the label
Oh,
to
that's
make it
funny.
work. Yeah.
I think
So-
about how many things I bought that I didn't need to because I didn't know
Mhm.
that we had them, because they weren't
Well,
organized.
I had no idea I was doing a radio show today with two aliens from some spaceship somewhere that love organizing, but I'm going to try to come around.
Tom's
going to
love this session.
Yeah. So I've got a great listeners, stick with us on the other side. We're going to take a break here in the morning, but the reason you need to is because I have this great starting story where Wendy, you'll be like, you will love this. Maybe we need to connect with the police department and you will understand when I'm done with my story.
Uh-oh.
This segment that we just did was brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers and Red Rhino Roofing. Red Rhino Roofing both those businesses are awesome, but Red Rhino Roofing goes above and beyond. Steve out there has done a couple things for me that's just
He
incredible.
Just roofed Alex's house. It looks awesome.
Which is great. It's fantastic. Also, really quick before we go to the break, you are listening to the 402 Business Insider. And if you'd like to be on our show or just connect with us with our newsletter, 402insider.com is where you will find us. And on there, you can sign up to be a guest if you'd like and give some information, fill out the form, and we'll get a hold of you and see if that's possible. You cannot just do yes and no answers. That's very important. So we'll go through that with you. Wendy's doing fantastic.
It is a talk show.
Right. My mom would pay me to shut up. So, it's like we might have a challenge here. But anyway, stick with us on the other side. It's 402 Business Insider. We'll be right back. Wendy Tridle with Organized by Design. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that first segment.
Yeah, it was fun.
Just a
Very
conversation,
fun. Yes.
right? We would kind of like to get. Oh wait, we have sponsors. We need to
sponsors.
mention our sponsors. This one is sponsored by the Cabin Virtual Indoor Golf, which is amazing. I don't golf, but just listening to everybody talk about it down there and guests that we have,
Wendy
they're like,
and I were just talking about
they're
it.
like the floor will move like you're standing at an angle, and it's just pretty amazing. So check that out. Also, Western National Bank. And Travis always says, well, you can walk in jeans and a t-shirt and they still treat you like
it's 100%.
everybody else.
I was over there the other day. They came out to the car, so my daughter didn't have to get out of the car with her kids. Like, they're just
cool.
Awesome.
And Mendoza Family Insurance. So thank you to those sponsors.
Yes.
So today, Wendy, we want to find out a little bit. So I off air, you told me you've been doing this for 15 years.
Mhm.
How'd you become an entrepreneur wanting to do that?
Well,
what did that look like?
For a couple things. I sold office furniture for 10 years. So I was an account manager, worked for commercial furnishings. And what I found out is that a lot of times you would go to somebody's office and they would need more filing cabinets. And then I'd open up their filing cabinets and the documents in there would be 25 years old. And I was like, do you even know what's in here? Do you even know where every drawer of your office has paper clips and there's just messes of different things in each drawer and repetitive information. So I caught myself a lot of times saying, okay, let's just spend a little time and go through this and get it organized. And then I wasn't selling a file cabinet.
I was just hearing that.
Which is a really hard thing.
Point of clarification.
I shouldn't be admitting that, should I?
Point of clarification. Every drawer shouldn't have like paper clips and all sorts of pens
and duplicates of everything and files. Like people would have go to a law office and they would have piles of but then they would have it, this was an investigation here, but it's also over here, and put it all together. It's really easy. Just spend some little extra time to be organized and it will make it a lot easier to live.
I think you're seeing what every entrepreneur does is they see a need and they're like, well, I could solve that need.
Mm-hmm.
You fell upon the need and go, okay, well,
Yes.
this is a service that I could provide.
Yes. So then, years later, 10 years later, I had my second son and I stayed home for a while. And my neighbors would come over and say, wow, your house is just like the perfect, everything's organized, everything, decor was great. So I would find myself, because I'm a very social person, if you haven't guessed, but I loved going over to other people's houses and doing their pantries and organizing. And so then I was like, this is a business that it would be great. And then I started researching it and knew that it was in Eastern and Western states and not Midwest. And so then I started organizing for lots of times, just organizing people's homes. Then at COVID time, that's when it really hit, where I started working in a lot of retirement communities and knew there was a need and really loved who we were working for. So to this day, I have about 15 employees, and we try to run about 2 to 3 crews a day.
Wow.
And so it's great. And lots of times it's just helping them decide what they need to take with them when they make that transition and downsizing.
So is that your niche now?
Yes.
Mostly working
Mhm.
with people
Well,
going
you
into
can-
assisted living
You
or
can have
apartment.
4 people working on a moving job, or you can have one organizer working with the client in a closet because there's not enough space. So I would say we do a lot of, we do closet organization, pantry organization, but most of all we do where we help the seniors decide what they're going to take with them. The idea is that the day of the move, we go over and we set up their kitchen while the movers are still there, worrying about their bed. And then we'll bring over, the movers will bring over the furniture. And by the end of the day, we say we don't want any totes or any boxes and maybe even pictures on the wall. So the beds are made, coffee's on, everything's in place by the time that we leave at 5:00.
See, we did that with my grandmother years ago. She relocated down by us, which we loved, but it was a challenge. I mean, several years in their home. Downsizing was hard. It was emotional. And just the logistics of it. We did hire a mover. We did a lot of the packing, the downsizing a little bit on our own, but that was a process, and it was very stressful. And we just even all that activity in one day is a lot to absorb at that age. We went in and we had all our family putting stuff away, and you could just feel the anxiety, ratcheting up. Just, where's all my stuff? I'm the one that usually puts this away. It's all new. It was interesting to watch that emotion.
And first off, in situations like that, it matters who says it. If it's
Right.
my mom and I doing it and I'm saying it's
Mhm.
totally different than if Wendy comes in and
Yes.
says, right?
Yes. Oh, I have several times. I could even tell you about this week. I had a family of four kids that said, "Can you come over and talk to my mom?" And I talked to her, and the son came running out and said, "I don't know how you did that." And I said, "Because I'm not you're the child of, so I'm just the person that's, you've told them, everybody has told them what they need to do, but I come in and say, okay, this is what we need to do, kind of put the stamp on it and make it happen."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So and I always say that anybody can throw things in a box. Anybody can. But what we do is I want to say, do the hand holding, because most of the time it's a life change. Grandma Betty breaks her hip and she needs to go into maybe assisted living or make that transition. And so we hear her story of how she's not mobile anymore. And we become their kids that they never had, really,
Well, and we
essentially.
see that a lot with my mother-in-law lives a state away. If she needed some of these services, we aren't there for the long time, or we might not be able to be there at all. So I could see that a lot where families are scattered, needing these services to step in.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to take a break again. And on the other side, I'd like to talk a little bit about, if I need your help at a business, is that still something that you would do or not? So let's think about that a little bit. And again, you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. If you want to get a hold of us and maybe be a guest on our show, or just kind of see what the show's all about, the web page, the URL is 402insider.com. But we're also on Facebook, right, Shannon?
Yes, absolutely.
And how do we find us there?
Well, you go to our website and it'll take you right there.
Oh, there you go. Bingo bango. So start there, and then you can get through to everything, which is great.
Yep.
On the other side, we're going to talk about 5 takeaways for homeowners and movers. So that's a segment that's kind of fun. We get into 5 specific things. So just kind of be thinking about that a little bit, and stick with us. We want to see you on the other side.
This segment is sponsored by Complete Family Dermatology and the UPS stores. So we're thankful for our sponsors.
Oh, great job, Shannon. You're doing fantastic. You're just a natural on the radio. And you have great radio face. We all three do. We have
Thanks.
great radio face. And I want to mention that you can find us on YouTube. So we have a
Yeah,
YouTube
heck
channel and you
yeah.
can see our goofy little faces. Well,
That-
my
yes.
goofy little faces. You two are beautiful. Anyway, this little segment we call 5 Takeaways. It is sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. 5 Takeaways is not only sponsored by them, but they do some amazing work here in Nebraska.
they're
So they try to
impressive.
keep Nebraska farmland owned by Nebraskans, which is really, really great. But they also do a couple other things like auction off equipment to help if that's needed. But anyway, contact Nebraska Farmers Network. If you are a farmer or if you're inheriting a farm, there's all sorts of things that can happen in that industry.
Also, their auction site is amazing. And what they had found is people were not selling their stuff. I spent some time with them over at their office. And so they can branch out and get things purchased out of state and helping our farmers. They also, if you are not a landowner but want to put that in your portfolio, you can help the Nebraska land stay local just by being an investor. So you can check them out online.
Which is great. I know. I was surprised to find out that the Mormon Church owns the majority of outside owned land in Nebraska. That was very interesting.
Yeah. And when we have corporate land that aren't here locally, imagine what the decisions are. We aren't making local decisions. So that's definitely something Nebraskans need to be aware of. And Nebraska Farmers Network does a great job at that.
Speaking of decisions,
Yeah.
if you decide to get organized,
Love
which you
the
should
segue.
do, apparently, I guess. It seems like an abnormality to me, but I'm going to try. We're going to do 5 tips on doing that. So let's start with this one. How about starting early?
Yes. So just be prepared. I mean, they say that I want to talk about seniors. Most of the time they want to die in their home or, they're going to live there until they die.
Yep.
And then something happens. And I talked about, breaking a hip or maybe dementia or something that it's just going to cause you to have that life change. Now somebody else is making a decision on your things. So do it. Go through, make sure it's ready. I don't want to say ready for that situation, but wherever, like Gary said, he knows where everything is in his house, right?
Well, yes.
You will once he moves.
I can find it right away. Get a coffee and just start drinking. I'll be back. If that becomes cool, I'll pour you another cup. I know right where it is.
So yeah, just know, think about people coming into your home. Think about, people have such life changes and sometimes somebody else has to be taking care of those decisions. So how is it going to make it easier for everybody else?
When you say start early, what does that look like? If you had to, we have unknown circumstances that could arise and we have things that bring us joy or we've collected or our kids never come and get, or, all of those things. When you say start early, what does that look like practically?
Well, I don't want to be morbid and say, things could happen overnight. Like you could be in a car accident tomorrow. So what's that going to happen when somebody comes into your home? But just be organized and try and have it set up so it's easier to live too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I would say I'm going to give huge kudos to my sisters, Debbie and Diane. They've done great with my mom on organizing and prepping her. My father fell 7 years ago and had a massive stroke and was in a nursing home for 4 years. And that brought on a lot of change in thought. But Debbie and Diane have done a great job going over to my mom's, getting it organized. Like, these are things that you don't need, or also like give away now. That type of a thing,
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids, the nephews and nieces, and then my sisters, I don't want any more stuff for me. I mean, apparently I have too much stuff. Anyway, so, but like my daughter wanted the grandfather clock. So her name's on the back of it on a piece of tape or an antique mirror or whatever. And mom's had certain items she's wanted to give to people specifically. So it's all marked and ready to go, really. So, I mean, that's how they've done a great
That
job starting
marking
early.
of stuff. It's so funny you say that. My grandmother, there is a painting that my grandfather's mom did, and Travis was just always attracted to it. And on the back, she had tape, "This goes to Travis when I'm done with it." You know what I mean? And we kept that
That's so
sticky
funny.
note on the back, and it's in our home
It's
because
so
it was
cute.
just so much her personality. And I love the
Yeah.
note even.
A lot of times when we're moving seniors, some of the things that we talk about are, like the 11 by 14 casserole dish. You're not going to need that in a retirement community. So why don't hand that down or donate it? Give it to somebody that's going to be cooking meals. But your life has changed, so should the way that you live. And they say that the average person has 52 coffee cups. So I always use that, and I say, okay.
Yeah.
You don't need 52 coffee cups when you're moving into a retirement community. Actually, you probably don't need any more than 4, but we usually have to negotiate that a little bit. So, they always intend that they're going to cook, and they're going to clean, and they're going to do everything that they did when they were 50 years old and they were able to do it.
Sure.
That's our
And
norm, our
yes,
habit.
Well-
yes. And they don't want to take that away from them too either. So sometimes I think it's a more of a security where you collect things and you need those things just in case I am going to ever have Thanksgiving dinner again and make it for the whole family.
Right. Or every mug has a story.
Yeah. 100%.
That's a lot of it.
Oh,
My
yes.
mom had over 20 soup ladles. Hello. But they all had a story. Oh, so and so
Interesting.
gave that to me, or oh, I got that when we were first married, and okay, well, it's covered with rust, Mom. Now I'm not
We
sure.
can't
if we
even use it
lifted
for
up.
food.
Oh, she
prep.
goes, I know I haven't used it. She goes, but it just means so much to me. And it was like, so we got her down. I think Debbie talked to her. She's great with my mom, but I think it was like, you can take, maybe let's choose 4,
Yeah. Oh, that's
and it
funny.
was that kind of a negotiation, but that can start now. I mean, I'm kind of mentally doing it now myself, moving now, going, okay, I'm probably going to be here until I transition. I mean, we'll be in this home for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, do I really need these things? And I've been going through the whole, if I haven't touched it in 3 years, I don't need, I should probably do if I haven't touched it in 2 years, I don't need it. But we've been donating a lot and it does feel good.
Yeah, it does. So you talked about starting early for a takeaway. Number 2 is prioritize. And we kind of segmented into that. And I have a question for you.
Okay.
So we all have that stuff that it feels weird to give away. No one wants it. Throw it away seems weird. So, for example, high school memorabilia. It was part of your life. No one cares about it anymore. My kids don't care about it. They didn't even know me then. I have my cheerleading outfit. I wanted to show my daughter as a hoot at some point and probably look back saying, I fit into that one time. Whatever it is, we
Right.
have all these little things that
are you. They're you, though.
But what do you do? They aren't going to be you after you. When do we get rid of them? How do we get rid of them?
Well,
That's weird.
I would take the cheerleading costume as a Halloween,
I'll give it to
costume
you.
for me.
I will invite you over and you fit into my
We'll have to
cheerleading
have it
outfit next year. It is a date, my friend.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And I'll
That's
be there
funny.
too.
But it is about prioritizing.
Like pictures of
Yes.
prom. It's like I lived it, but like I'm not gonna
Yes.
go look
I-
through them anymore.
I always say, have a box or have a tote or something that is your life. And it might be like, for example, I had this
love
one
that.
guy that had that his dad was 96. He was in memory, and we were going through all of his stuff. Yes, a whole house full of stuff. And I said, your dad's not. If he lives to be over 100, great, but his life is short. Let's be honest. So why don't we make a memory box of him that maybe you want to display that cheerleading outfit on here. But some of those items that you want in that celebration of life, we just put his dad's name on it, and about 6 months later, the son's wife called and said, thank you so much for doing that. We just got that tote out, celebration of life, and we
That's cool.
put it all together as a family on a bulletin board and a presentation board, and just was really great. So yeah, but back to your cheerleading. I'm sure you don't want that, but so I just always say, if there's little things that you want to keep them in for yourself to go back and reflect on. But those things we donate often too.
I think I might have had an idea. So whoever's listening and steals this, I'll be out for you. But you can make, you can make those picture books easy, Shutterfly, whatever.
Yes.
I wonder if there's something that even the box of stuff, how big is the box of stuff? It's still stuff, right? It's still stuff. And so I wonder if some of those things, before you give them away, you take a picture, you video them. Why was this so special? What's the story behind it? And you put a little QR code to that, and you can listen to the story behind it.
See, that'd be a great pass down to your children, grandchildren, great
Mhm.
grandchildren, for sure. The little stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a really great idea. Actually, I've been taking a lot of when you have a business for 38 years, I had accolades that I got, or just thank yous, or my wall was covered with all of these, and I'm kind of like, they all mean something to me and nothing to anyone else.
Right.
And if I put them in my office, the problem is, since I'm a squirrel, totally, is then I'm telling everybody the stories, and then my hour's gone. But anyway, I've been taking pictures of them, and then
there
just
you go.
putting them in an album on my phone. And that album is, maybe like different, like Chamber of Commerce awards or something, so that they're there that way. I've been doing that with some pictures too, because back when, remember, we had to take pictures and get them developed, or even writing on the back of the pictures and then giving them to the kids.
That's cool. That's cool. So we have prioritizing for a second takeaway. Third, organize by category.
What is a category?
We got to organize our organizational methods. Talk
Yes.
about that
So
one.
I always say,
Oh, you just lost me.
sections. Put it in the right area. Sections. I mean, sometimes when you say Gary has that drop zone of this several places, put that drop zone in one place, and then everything should have a home. Whether it's categories or sections, and it should look uniform. Where anyone can come into that space and see where it should be.
In order for that to work, does somebody have to put something back where it belongs?
Oh, yes.
Really?
You have to participate
That's
in
a
the
lot.
process, Gary.
Do you have can we get a subscription and you just show up every week and put it where it
I
goes?
bet you could.
I'm
There you
so
go,
terrible.
Wendy.
They say that the average person thinks about a piece of mail 10 times before 10 times. So you think about that. Yeah, you go get the mail, you look at the mail, you sit it on the counter, then they look at it again, then they walk by it, make their coffee or whatever you're doing, and then they open it, and then it's a bill, and then they take it wherever to their desk or wherever to pay for it. So it's amazing how many times we think about one thing before we actually take action and put it away.
Okay.
That
well,
I believe.
I witnessed this. The biggest offender of this in our house is my son, and he's revamping his house. He will be moving out soon. So it'll be very interesting, but he'll look at the mail, and then it's on the table, and it'll sit there, and I'm like,
Well, that's what you're supposed to do with it.
That is not. I said, is this something you need to keep? No. If you determined it was a no, then why is it here? I can't even follow the thought process of that.
Just to see if you're on the ball, Mom.
Yeah, really.
It's so interesting though that I just did a consultation yesterday, and this lady was talking about how important she has to have a 2-bedroom because she has to have an office, and how that generation, the baby boomer generation, it might even be my generation, but how we have to have desks and we have to go to the computer and pay the bill. Now you have it where there's if they're 20 years old, like where do you keep your bills? Well, I don't need to
on my
because I
phone.
pay it online,
Yep.
automatic payment. So it's just amazing how time a waste of the whole mail and the paper for
So touch it once, make a decision, put it where it goes.
touch
So
it
is this
once.
coming
Well,
out
and
of
then it
me?
doesn't
Am I
even-
actually
yes.
saying this?
Look at we
getting
are
it.
making an impact. Look at this. I do think about that, just even the mental capacity of having to address something. all
That's
the
where my
time.
challenge is.
Yeah,
The mental capacity thing.
diminished.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
diminished.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
feeling that too. So we have categories for bring in professionals.
Oh, see, now this is right where
There
I
we
am.
go.
See,
right?
look at me
Then I
keeping
need
you
the
on.
professional.
I am keeping the squirrel in line. Look at me. 4 is
Amazing.
bringing professionals. We talked about just reasons why. Number one, it could be seen as a luxury, it could be efficiency, but talk about the value you hear back from your clients and the families of your clients over and over.
Oh, I would say every day I say we couldn't have done it without you. And I don't know if it's because we're physically able to, but mentally I feel is more of what an impact we can do.
Well, emotionally,
Yeah.
Yes.
like
So
we
you're
said
more
earlier,
objective.
it matters who says it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? All 5 kids can go, Mom, you really don't need 20 ladles. But if a professional's in there saying, okay, listen to the stories a little bit and then
Right.
get it down to 2 or 3 ladles.
Yes. So we come in, and sometimes I always say, if I have somebody that's crying, well, I just don't want you in my space because it's so bad and this happened and my husband got sick or blah. There's always reasons. Just I call it excuses, not excuses, but reasons very similar to why you don't work out or why you don't do something else. So just life happens and things get in the way, and then they're calling us and saying, having tears and saying, it's just out of control. I don't know what to do. But we can come in as a service and just do one time. So I always say we're professional coaches. So we'll just help you get jumpstart, because sometimes people are just blinded because they don't know where to start.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
well, let's start somewhere. Let's start in this room. We'll start.
Yeah.
No, not only are you professional, but you're also non-judgmental, right? So
Right.
coming
Oh.
from your kids or a relative, there's just built in, oh, you're judging me. I've always been
Mhm.
this way,
Mhm.
whatever. Whereas when you come in as a professional, there's no judgment on your part, right? Life happens. You're going to do your job. And so it doesn't matter if the office is a complete mess, or
Mhm.
whatever. You're there to help with that situation.
Or the objectivity of it. You can still be kind and understand theirs, but you do. How many kids or how many parents want to hear from their kids? Your stuff isn't important. That's
Right.
not what it
Yeah.
is.
Right.
But
And kids are not going to be as, I don't want to say as kind sometimes as we are, but we sometimes they show us something and be like, so why do you have it? Or why don't you have it on the wall? Is what I usually say. Why
Yeah.
don't you have this displayed? Why do you not have this out? Well, I'm not going to display this. And I was like, well, then could we
Like, keep
donate
it.
it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, donate it. But if a kid said it, Mom, why do you
Mhm.
you do not need this? We're going to donate it.
yeah.
So just the way that we say it, the body language, the way that we present it to our clients, I think is very smooth and accepting, and they just really appreciate what we do.
Well, without knowing it, you transitioned right into number 5, which
Yep.
is emotional decluttering.
Oh,
That's what
yes.
that is. Why isn't it on the wall? Because emotionally, it means something to me. I know this would be me. I know that award is in that box. I think that box, or it might be, yeah, it's in the house probably, but so for me, it's that for sure, emotional decluttering.
Mhm.
I love that. Emotional decluttering is difficult too, because our life is a story. And a lot of those things that we have are a story, like where you just said, what is this? What does it mean to you? Then why isn't it on the wall? I don't want everybody to see that. Or
Well, and I think sometimes too, we have these clients. I mean, right now, this older generation, their kids are not present. Either they're not present emotionally, they're not present location wise. So you have these kids that are in California, Florida, wherever, and then they call me and say, would you meet with so and so? And so we'll meet with their parents, and then the first session, I always say it is the emotional session.
Mm.
I feel like we just don't get as much done that we want to get done, but we need to know who they are, where they come from, really
how do you
build.
live?
Yes. And I
Yeah.
want to say more, trust too, and trust, because we're going through everything of your house.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Well, we're up against a break here, so stick with us. Come back on the other side. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Again, you can find us on the web at 402insider.com. We'll be right back. Our guest is Wendy Tridle with Organized by Design. Did I get that right?
yeah.
She
Even
is
the
an
last name
amazing entrepreneur. I
pronunciation.
know we only have 90 minutes with Wendy, but I have had the pleasure of getting to know her in her home a few times,
I
and
love it.
just her thought process. There's just so much there. We could probably do a few,
Yeah, very
few
alien to
sessions
me,
with
but
her.
yes, okay. I'm kidding you. So this segment is brought to you by James Arthur Vineyards. Still, my favorite thing they did was when they paired wine to junk food in March.
That was so
what
creative,
a hoot.
right?
Like, what wine goes best with Weaver's potato chips? Wait, that's not even a brand anymore. I'm so old. And then also Lincoln Coin and Bullion, which is another really great company here in town. stories in real estate that I've had of people that have gold and silver hidden in their
Speaking of
homes and stuff is
downsizing and such.
unbelievable.
Well, and you can go and tour and see their stuff and just learn about what they do. They're very hospitable that way. You have to
Yeah.
make an appointment, but it's pretty cool.
So this segment is called Unexpected Impact. And so it's still open for a sponsorship. If you own a car dealership, a car body repair shop, that would be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Unexpected Impact.
Yeah,
Or really almost any business, because we have unexpected impacts all the time.
exactly.
Like when I'm doing a radio show and I my words right. That sort of
What do we need,
unexpected
like
impact.
a speech pathologist or something? I don't know.
Which is also a tough word. Pathology, pathologist, that's a tough one anyway.
Yeah.
And then that's where you start with speech therapy, right? So Wendy, what's something that blindsided you in your business or that was just unexpected, caused you that moment of just, just if you think of a car accident, like, oh my gosh, this happened and now what? What are some unexpected impacts you've had? Certainly you've had some in the years of business.
There has been several, but I would have to say that going back to COVID, that was a very positive change. But I did organizing people's closets, their pantries, just the simple organization for 10 years. And then COVID hit. What I did is I also became in Nebraska, a mediator for the state of Nebraska.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting.
I'm not doing that much anymore, but just, sometimes you come across people that are not getting along. Families don't get along.
That
So,
skill set,
yes.
bringing that in, that
Yeah.
would be ideal. You wouldn't think about that. You think about moving stuff, but
Oh,
mediating family and dynamics would be a huge part of that.
I think that's probably the thing that I didn't expect, when maybe a divorced couple.
Mm.
I just talked about this yesterday, but I worked with a couple about 3 years ago, and they had been married for 25 years, and they loved to read, and they had lots of books, and we had to go through each individual one and decide who gets what. They weren't talking to each other, so it was all done through, technology of texting them both and
Oh my gosh.
giving me a thumbs up or thumbs down. It was a lot of work.
That's
But
excruciating.
that, like as we also know that when COVID hit, then we had a lot of change, and a lot of the communities said, "Hey, can you just come in, because it's just you to come into the communities and make this happen?" And then we started adding more people and adding more change to what happened, growing our business, and it snowballed, and it was great. It would just help to really make that, what's going to happen. Well, here we are, and this is what we're going to do, and go forward.
Your tie-in with aging communities, perfect.
I think I know we keep citing COVID so much in daily life, but it was the biggest disruptor of, I don't even know how many years, but it was such a disruptor. It was fast. There was government disruption of close downs that were out of our control or whatever. But I love where you said, hey, in that moment, the need was great and we grew out of it. So not every sometimes we do need disruption.
Yes.
Just to think about things differently and be creative. And I think when I think back at COVID, how people got creative, we saw that, like, even with, we changed things that allowed you to get your favorite drink and go, or whatever that we never had before. The adaption of using Zoom and it not being impersonal. It was just efficient and we could connect that way. And now we see that in business so much more. So just all those mindsets around what could be.
And it was more of a need, it wasn't something. I want to say, I think of our business as being more of a, I don't want to say luxury business, but it's not. But because there's some financial, that costs money to have somebody come in and help you go through your things. But I think, that going back to it, it was, this needs to happen. They need to make this transition. So it was more of an urgency and a need. And then from there, like I said, we just added more people, and then we opened up the gates from COVID and made this change into what is now, a great business.
So many times with COVID, we hear of all the negative, all the negativity, the horrible things that were this or that. But so many businesses grew through COVID and became important in a special way, or it was a great time of pivot for businesses to go, okay, I need to pivot into this situation because it's a great need now. And then it's lasted and it went, wow, that was a real positive outcome. Because this is a wonderful thing for people that are having to go into assisted living or moving into just a retirement community and need to really downsize. You fill a need that's so important. Because again, I keep going back to it, but it matters who says it, right? If it's the kids, aunt and uncle, grandkids, whatever, that's way different than your company coming in.
And I think also, having this business, it was created by me and what our community, Lincoln, needed. And so, like we can utilize my interior design background and hang pictures on the wall and do layouts of their space. But it was something that I was like, okay, now what should we add on? What would make this so much easier? Let's buy some vans where we can help people donate easier. So and what else could help? Oh, let's partner with some estate sale people that we can resource them out to. So,
well, we're coming up to a hard break here, and so we'll be back shortly after that. But again, just a reminder, find our URL 402insider.com, and from that you can get on all the socials, sign up for our newsletter. You can also sign up to be a guest.
Signing up for our newsletter, because our sponsors have great things that go in there. You'll learn about their events, what specials they have, and all of that good stuff. So.
Yeah, it's just a really good thing to keep track of. You are listening to the 402 Business Insider on 1499.3 KLIN, and we will be back after this short break.
Welcome back to the 402 Business Insider. We would like to praise a couple new sponsors, Integrated Behavioral Health Services and Lincoln Airport, with great news of new things coming and flying out of Lincoln. So that's pretty exciting. So follow them to see what all they have going on. I hear all new things are happening even going into this next year. So thank you for being a sponsor of the 402 Business Insider.
Yeah, this segment is called This Needs an Adjustment, and it is sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. Brian out there is my chiropractor, by the way, and since I have spinal stenosis and needed a huge adjustment last week, thank God for his help, because it's just absolutely amazing. And especially as we season, our bodies need things differently. And so chiropractic is a great way to keep your body in motion and moving well. So Ascend Chiropractic, thank you for being a sponsor.
Absolutely.
And kind of brings that back to you, Wendy. Wendy Tridle is our guest today, if you're just joining us, with Organized by Design. All of that is very foreign to me personally, but I am liking you a lot, Wendy, and I'm thinking I'm going to end up having to hire this lady, I can tell. But what is something in your business along the way that's needed an adjustment, or where you just made an adjustment, or things change? I mean, what came to mind from me, but might not be a big one for you, but am I correctly thinking that the first 10 years you did the business yourself?
Yes.
Now you've hired how many people?
Now we're up to 15 people.
Okay, so that's an adjustment.
Yes. So we have most of them are part-time, and we hire depending on the need. If you have a move, and then we hire this part-time person to fill those. But we have 3 full-time, and then including myself is 4. So we have the 3 move managers. So that is our 3 crews that go out. Adjustments are huge. As a business owner, you always have to make adjustments every day. It's so funny. This week I woke up and I thought on Tuesday, I only had 1 appointment, and it ended up that I got home at like 6:30 at night, because things happen, like, oh, somebody needs to pay a bill, or somebody needs something. So, it's just like you always have to make adjustments for everything. And I think right now, the whole adjustment, me being not being a youthful person anymore, we had to make some adjustments and hire some young people with some I don't want to say some strength, because we're moving, we're shuffling stuff around all the time, and we're packing up boxes, so they have to be very physically able to do it. And also make sure that they have the personal touch of that. But AI has been such a change. Just learning Chat GPT, who would have thought that that would change the world?
So talk about that, because technology implementation is a broad topic. How are you using that in your business, be it AI or technology
Mhm.
or software?
Well, I find that a lot of my referrals come from Facebook, just and
Sure.
it's free, and you just have to, post.
Engage.
And yes, and so all that heartfelt or whatever emotional feeling posts have changed so much, because it used to be matter of fact. Okay, I'm going to get my nails done or whatever
Mhm.
10 years ago. And today it's like, oh, we're decorating this beautiful Christmas tree that's glittering with lights that sparkle through the sky or whatever it
Yeah.
might be. I mean, now we have to really be engaging in making sure that it's right, and that maybe our videos are correct, and it feeds into our story and then Instagram, and it's a lot of work.
Something we've had so many guests on here, but one takeaway I've had from several different guests about hiring is how important it is to hire to culture, that you can teach skill, but hire to culture. So I'm very interested in what you do,
Mhm.
hiring to culture and then teaching the skill. Okay, I would be a good hire for you when it comes to being able to talk to a seasoned individual that needs to move into assisted living, because I'm just good with people and talking
Right.
to them about their lives and everything. But could you teach me the skill of organization?
Well,
I'm not trying to
you're hired.
introduce you to a nightmare.
You're hired. I mean, if you, I mean, a lot. I just hired somebody. She's one of my move managers, and she just graduated with psychology major,
Ah,
and
perfect.
and I was like, psychology, wow, that's great. And
Mhm.
she hangs with her grandparents and the evenings and the weekends, and so I'm like, she's it.
Mm.
This is it.
You couldn't
She's
be
gonna be
more perfect,
Yeah,
right.
right?
exactly.
Right. And I think too, she is very involved in, she really engages in the clients. So I feel like there's that niche there. And then also I think we struggle though, because a lot of times the people have said that you ask them where they're going to school, or because they
Mm.
don't realize that there is some youth that can connect with
Mhm.
these seniors.
Sure.
Mhm.
So that's it. I mean, we can teach anybody how to pack a box,
Mhm.
how to write the items on the box, on the top, on the side. We can tell anybody to do that, but we can't tell anybody how to talk to somebody that has just lost their ability
Mhm.
for their mind, or that they can't make coffee anymore.
Or just honestly, sometimes just listen. That's sometimes
Yes.
really hard, is just to listen and have that patience and fortitude just to be.
Mhm.
But I also, in talking to Wendy about her business, has been really interesting, because she's very methodical, just like her organization brain, on how she wants to grow. So I remember talking to you, you're like, I evaluate who I have on my team and what their strengths are, and then playing to their strengths. And what I
Mm.
think small businesses have just more is, if we don't have 400 people, I don't have to evaluate 400 people and put them in the right places. We have 15. It's very easy to
Mhm.
identify their strengths and allow them to play within their strengths, and then everyone benefits. So
Mhm.
just being able to be very precise and involved
Right.
is a
Well,
gift.
and I think we're still small enough. And, I always think, oh, growth is great. Everybody wants to grow. But that personalization of being a small business and saying, okay, I go out to, Jan's house, and, oh, she was a school teacher. I have a retired school teacher on my team. She
Mhm.
will connect with her, just being mindful and putting the same people in the same place. And I always say, like, there's a lot of moving companies that can, like I say, pack up boxes. they don't need to speak English or anything. They just pack up the box. But what we're doing is we're really engaging. We're finding out their pets. We're loving on their pets too.
Well, and how do they live?
Yes.
That's a great big thing. Anybody wanting to build a new home, it's one of the first things I want to talk with them about, is like, how do you live? What's life look like for you? Are you have one appointment on a Tuesday and then you go in and you're coming home at 6:30 or 7? So just literally what you're going to have for dinner is the big deal. Or are you very, methodical about how you go about your day? And there is a drop zone, which I still don't understand that. And then, so on and so forth. But those things are important. So I love the way you compare people depending on what their life experiences were, right? Like the school teacher with the school, because school teachers are incredibly organized. Most. I mean, am I wrong with that? My daughter-in-law is a school teacher, and she is so organized.
But they're savers sometimes.
Oh,
If you want to do broad strokes.
I call them nourishing. They're very nourishing. So sometimes when you have a nourishing people like to have everything and have meaning for
I love
things.
that. I love that term.
Yes.
Well, we're coming across a break here real quick. So you are listening to the 402 Business Insider on 1499.3 KLIN. We'll be right back after this break. Stick with us. You can find us during the break. Go to 402insider.com. Check out our webpage. Sign up for the newsletter.
All our episodes are up there.
Yeah, you can find all of them. There's a lot of really fun, good ones. So we'll be right back. Stick with us.
Something to mention, though, is because this fall, sometimes we get preempted. If you are jonesing for us, you can always go to the website, but also sometimes this is moved to Sunday, so you can catch us lots of ways.
Yeah, if there's a football game or we preempted for that, a lot of times we'll be live Sunday from 10:30 to 12 as well, which is great. So this segment is sponsored by Barry Law Firm. We had John in here recently. He's a great guest and also just a wonderful human being. The Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. If you are a small business and you're not a member of the chamber, you're floating out in the ocean by yourself, and you don't need to be, because there's a bunch of us that are in the same boat with you, and you can get together with like-minded individuals with similar challenges in life. Chamber is a great organization. And then also Wyuka Cemetery. People are dying to get in there. And it's oh, wait, did that come out right?
Well, I don't think that's their tagline, but I'm not saying they shouldn't consider it. They just opened up their new sales office. So you should stop by and see it. They did a whole remodel and they're back out of their temporary place into their new.
So, I walk in the cemetery all the time. It's a beautiful meditative place to walk. It's gorgeous area. They're going to be putting the mural up from Pershing pretty soon. They just hired one of the people that do tile work for us and houses and stuff, got that bid. It's going to do all that. So that'll be really
quite
beautiful.
A neat place, historical place.
Well, today our guest is Wendy Tridle with Organized by Design. So this last segment is kind of yours. Tell us a little bit. So I've been listening. Now, how do I find you? Where do I go to find you?
Yes. So the easiest way is to go to our website, of course. It's organizedbydesign.info, not com, info. And it's organized with no D. So we're going to be the present, organizedbydesign.info. And then, like we talked about earlier, Facebook, we post a lot on Facebook. So that is Organized by Design NE on Facebook, or you can email at OBD as in Organized by Design NEB at gmail.com. So yes.
So if I contact you, do I get you or one of the employees?
Yes. Yeah. You call, and what will happen is you'll call me, and then I schedule a consultation, hear your story on the phone. And then I go to your home and I hear your story again, and we go through your home and then give you some ideas.
What does that original consultation cost?
It is free. Yes.
Okay. So to get an idea of what you can do and help is free. So that's big for a lot of people, especially the generation now. Like my mom's 91 and people in their 80s went through the depression. Every penny counts. It's very important in that generation, I think, as well. Something we didn't talk about that just went through my mind now because I squirrel and I have ADWTTTPPSDBBA is and now it just left my brain. Oh my gosh, that's even scarier yet, isn't it? Anyway, go on.
Oh my goodness.
Literally, it did. It left my brain. It'll come back, but
I
got stuck in the alphabet.
Well, when we do a consultation, then we usually go through the home, figure out, give some ideas, and then we will schedule. And so what a schedule might look like is I always call it pockets. pockets of time. So we usually do a 3 hour. So we'll do it 1 week and then maybe the next week we'll do two, just so, we don't get overwhelmed. We don't want you to be overwhelmed. Now, you might be a young person and just say, I just need 3 people for a day for packing, and we can do that too. So we just kind of gauge on the client and what the needs are, and then we will find out when they're going to be moving, and of course then we can contact the movers right away, and then we'll know, if it's a move to Kansas City, we'll know that we're limited on who we can help with the move.
My
you
feeble
line-
brain just remembered what it was. I got to get it out before I forget.
Okay.
Okay, so my thing was I'll get people that are right sizing and they're like, I have to have an office. I've been in this career my whole life. Okay, we're 85 years old now. And it's like, you really don't.
Mhm.
And the spouse oftentimes is sitting there standing behind said individual talking to me, mouthing, no, we don't need an office. And so working through some of that is huge. Right now I have clients wanting to build, and the communication between the two of them really is, you haven't worked in your woodworking shop for 10 years. Yet you want to build a house where you have a great big woodworking. Maybe can we pass on to the grandson who loves woodworking? I mean, there's a lot of that I would think you would run into with people as well.
All the time. Yes, all the time. Like even the client yesterday, they did have a shop, and the
I see that.
husband is into memory care.
Mm.
But it's just I was like, well, can we just create a small toolbox, minimize it a little bit, get rid of some of the things that you don't need, but it is also that security. So we try to help them, talk them through the process of what's important. The other thing is it might be like, okay, we need a 3 bedroom in an assisted living, or I'm sorry, independent living, because we need to have that office, and we need to have that extra bedroom. And I was like, well, how often does your sister come and visit you? Oh, she comes twice a year. And I was like, so you're spending $500, maybe $1,000 more to have that one extra bedroom
Per month.
per month.
Yeah.
Yes.
And businesses sometimes, like my business when I had the flower shop, was very seasonal, right? I mean, I'm really busy November through May, and then not. And there's pockets in there where it's not busy, but in my public speaking in that industry, I would often say, do not staff for the busiest times of your year, because those are 5 weeks out of the year, and then you're making that payroll. Kind of same here. Like, you
Right.
do not need that. I mean, I have friends that are going from living in a house where they raised their 5 kids, and now it's just the 2 of them, and still wanting to buy a house with 5 or 6 bedrooms. I'm like, why? Well, the kids might all come home at Christmas. I go, I've been through this. I'm empty nest for quite a. They never all come home at the same time. There's
Right.
in-laws.
Yeah.
Wendy, what else do you organize them, you organize the process, but you talked about, we contact the movers, we contact, like, if there needs to be an estate auction, if there needs to be do you organize that too?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Depending on
interesting.
what their needs are. If they have a big 5-bedroom house, then it might be a different estate sale than us. Or if they have, and we want to pair them with the correct people. So not every client is ours, and we'll just be honest with them and tell them, this is a big house that needs an estate sale, then this is not us. Or we'll do it in layers and help them provide the moving part of it. But like a person that already has gone through that big downsizing and into a townhouse, and now they need to move into assisted living, then we can also, that's our clientele.
It's perfect.
I
client for
think
you.
that it's kind of like realtors. They always have a large tool
niche.
belt of referrals. Like, okay, well, we need to prep this. We need to fix these things. Here's a really good contact to do that.
Right.
And I could see that just passing really trusted referrals off. So I don't have to just look up online and hope that they serve you well. You'll know to land them in a good place if there needs to be a complimentary and collaboration effort to make this all go as planned.
And I would say that what makes us unique too is that we're going to help that person that needs to be moved in the next 2 weeks. So there's a lot of companies that can help them, but it might be more of a need that's later on too. So, yeah. And even like you said, connecting them with different people, like a painter, or, sometimes you come into a place and they had no idea they had mice. Like, okay, this is what you need to take care of before we'll come in.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, it has been a true pleasure having you on today, Wendy. Thank you for coming in. And
Thank you.
Shannon, I would do this show with you every week. Don't tell. Is he still listening? Travis, shut your speakers off.
He did text
Hey.
me that he's listening in the air. So we'll see what the results are,
How
the feedback.
that all works out. So it's organizedbydesign.info, not
Correct.
com. And the Facebook page is Organized by Design NE.
Yes.
Correct? Two
Look
great
at
ways
him.
to get started with you. I
Yes.
know.
I'm
I'm
impressed.
gonna go home and write a song about memory care. It's gonna be called "This Is Me" soon. Anyway, so you've been listening to the 402 Business Insider, 1499.3 KLIN. Come back next week, and as always, find us at 402insider.com.
1499.3 KLIN, the voice of Lincoln.
For nearly 20 years, Lincoln Coin & Bullion has been Nebraska's largest and most trusted coin, currency, and bullion dealer. Proudly serving Lincoln and the Midwest with an A+ rating and 5-star service. Call or go to LincolnCoinandBullion.com.